Hey guys, it is Tia from Work at Home Maiden, and I'm back with another video. Today's video is based off of a question from the Discord. I posted this post, hey, heads up, to any Uber drivers in here. The CEO just came out as a staunch Trump supporter. People are deleting their apps and funding other options like Lyft. This will eventually trickle down and hit your pockets. Try and diversify your gig apps so you can still get out there. Now, the question was, are there, hold on, uh, is Lyft the only other option? Just curious. So, I'm going to answer that question in this video, okay? And I'm going to try and do this quick because I am under a bit of a time constraint. And if you find the content that I post helpful and you would like to give back to me, the creator, my information is in the Discord, which is always going to be free, and it'll be in the description box below. This will help me expand the Work at Home Maiden community and also um, just help me keep going in life. So, thank you guys. Don't forget to also like, share, subscribe, and we're going to go ahead and get into the obvious option, which is Lyft. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on Lyft. I will leave these links down below. Lyft is well known to many Uber drivers. It is nationwide in the United States, and from what I've heard, they tend to pay their drivers more and treat their drivers a bit better. I don't do Lyft, so I don't know personally, but that is what I've heard. Now, before I go on to the next apps, I will say this. Some of these apps will waitlist you, and you just keep going, keep applying to other apps. Don't give up if you get waitlisted. Um, a couple of them I've gotten waitlisted on, and it didn't take longer than 2 weeks for me to get off, but I think it depends on what app you are trying to get into, okay? Taxes will be your responsibility. You tend to be a 1099 employee, a 1099 contractor, and you have to have keep up with your gas, your car rentals, or anything of that sort. Speaking of which, Lyft here, if you don't have a car, something happens to your car, they do have Lyft Express Drive where you can rent a car through Lyft. Now, back to my list of things. There tend to be no limits to hours you can work. You tend to be able to go between zones. Like if you live in one area and that's where you normally are, you tend to be able to work wherever that service is available. Some of these apps may be regional, which means they may not be available in your area. So definitely do your own research and see what is available to you in your area. Okay? All right, so with that being said, we're going to move forward. I will leave again these links down below for you guys to peruse the site at your leisure. But since Lyft is so well known to many Uber drivers, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next option, which is Roadie. Now, full disclosure, I do Roadie. I love Roadie. So my analysis of Roadie might be a bit biased, but we're still going to go through this together. All right, so Roadie is a UPS company. You do not work for UPS. You are a third party, and this can confuse people sometimes because if they order something through, let's say, Home Depot, and it gets delivered to their house, but you show up in your car with, you not wearing a uniform and stuff like that, they get a little off put sometimes. This doesn't happen often because most of the time, people are not in their yards waiting for you. They just, you drop it off and you leave most of the time, 99% of the time. But sometimes it can be confusing, so just kind of, you know, get your humor on and say, hey, yeah, this is third party, whatever, and then move along. One thing that I like about Roadie is that you can do medication drops. The medication drops tend to pay more. You, this is not something that happens every day, but I've gotten multiple medication drops that are going between like 70 and 100 miles that paid, you know, to $200. That happens sometimes, but you kind of have to be near a big city for that and watch out for them and kind of get your quick fingers on because people see them and they pick them up and they take them real quick. So that being said, this has um the potential to pay a lot, but you have to be consistent and kind of like watch to see what you can get. On average, though, you'll probably make about $12 per drop. Um, you can do multiple drops, and we're gonna go down here and look real quick at their little list here. Um, you can see your exact pay up front. You get exclusive opportunities for large vehicles. The large vehicle ones do pay a lot more, but they tend to be heavy. Instant cash out, but it costs like $2, and there are no minimum vehicle standards. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and put this link in the description box below. You guys can look at this at your own leisure, and we're gonna go on to the next one, which is Turo. Now I know, if you are using your car to make money yourself, maybe you don't have the option to do Turo, but if you maybe have two cars, or you can allow your car to be out on the road sometimes without you in it, you could possibly put your car up on Turo and make money, but they do have standards that you have to pass to get your car up there. Like it has to be a certain year. You have to make sure it's well maintained, no lights on, all these other things to make sure that your car is ready for somebody else to rent it and drive it. I have seen people making, so much money doing this, but you have to have the risk of someone driving your car and the insurance, and again, your car has to maintain certain standards now. I will put this down below. I will not spend too much time on this because I know this is making some of you guys uncomfortable because it's your car and it's a bit risky, but they do insure your car, and if your car is total loss, they will give you what your car was worth. So this is something that you could possibly do if you have the option. I understand a lot of people don't. So we're going to go ahead and move on to something that may be a bit more realistic for some of us. Instacart. Instacart is an something that I do. I love Instacart because it seems like a fun puzzle to me. But if you have the tolerance. I know some people don't have, like, maybe there's anxiety or ADHD. Some people may not have that tolerance to go in the store and wander around and then go drop this stuff off. It is a bit mentally taxing. But if you're 18 plus, and you're eligible to work in the United States and have access to a vehicle, this could be a good option for you to make $300-400 a month, not a month, I'm sorry, a week, depending on where you are. This is nationwide. Um, I don't think it's hard to do, but it is a bit tedious sometimes. But there's instant pay; you can be paid every day. The requirements, we went over that just a little bit. Just a little bit. You have to be at least 18 years of age, have a car, um, and be in an area where it's available. I live in a small town and it's available there. Um, but yeah, Instacart, you'll just be delivering groceries. Um, you have to be 21 or older to deliver the alcohol. You get paid daily. There aren't too many restrictions on your car. They don't even inspect your car like they do with Uber and Lyft. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. And if I'm going too fast, please comment below and I will make a more in-depth video. But I am trying to get this out real quick for you guys to answer that question and have it over and done. All right, so next is Spark Driver. Now, from my understanding, this is a Walmart app, but I've seen multiple people talking about how other stores use Spark to deliver or have their items delivered. And I've also seen that Spark tends to pay better than other apps, but Spark also has a wait list in many places. So keep that in mind. They also kind of describe this as your own business compared to other apps. And I guess it kind of can be, ways to earn, incentives, promotions, and other ways to earn. Plus, if you refer your friends, you can make even more. This is basically, from my understanding, Instacart, but through Spark, and you get paid more. You tend to get paid more apparently. You need to be at least 18 years old. You need your real ID and not your just driver's license and social security card and proof of auto insurance. So, and then you background check you. Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to move to the next one, which is DoorDash. I do DoorDash. Many Uber drivers also do DoorDash, and it's nationwide. Even in some smaller towns, they have DoorDash available for people to do. Um, I I like other apps more than I like DoorDash because people tend to try and get over more. They tend to lie more because they don't want to pay that money for the food that they ordered. And it's just there's more variables, there's more interaction with people when it comes to DoorDash. So if maybe um if maybe you're not a people person, this might not be for you, but a lot of Uber drivers are kind of at least sort of people. But yeah, the pay tends to also be a little bit lower than other apps, but it is still a good option if you want to fill in some holes. There are people who make, $1,400 a week doing this. They are hustlers. They're going, they're always on. Um, and it's really good. And you can use any vehicle, any car, scooter or bicycle in select cities. And you need your driver's license and a social security number, and they will background check you. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one, which is similar to DoorDash, which is Grubhub. Now, Grubhub is now connected to Amazon. So if you do Amazon Flex, this is like it's going to be something that you do as well as doing that. It's basically kind of like DoorDash. They pay you per delivery, picking up food, dropping it off. Your schedule is flexible. Um, They do block scheduling. You can apply minutes and hit the road fast, they say. But just know it's going to take at least a couple of days to get on the road. You can use a car, a motorcycle, a bicycle, or a scooter, depending on your market. Driver's license needs to be valid. Insurance needs to be valid. Um, unless you're doing a bike, which means you have to have a state ID at least. A smartphone with a data plan, and that is pretty much something you're going to need for all of these. You're going to need a smartphone with a data plan that is updated. I had a older model Apple phone that I was not able to do these apps on because my phone just would not handle it. So you have to make sure you have a phone that can handle these apps. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. I'm sorry I'm moving so fast, but I do not want this video to cut off on me. All right, so Amazon Flex is another one you can do. Let's look at the requirements real quick. They say you can make between $18 and $25 an hour, but it depends. If you're out there in the country and your Amazon hub is in a city, you have to also look at the gas to get there, the gas you're putting in your car to drop these packages off, and also maintenance and things like that. But your requirements. You need to live in an area where Amazon Flex operates, 21 years or older, valid U.S. driver's license, have a midsize or larger vehicle with insurance, and an iPhone or an Android so that you can, get those so that can handle this. So that you won't be out in the middle of nowhere and your phone just shuts down because it can't do what the app needs it to do. And you also need to have a bank account. So, with that being said, we're going to go on to the honorable mention that I have medical courier. Now, you will have to have a car that fits the standards for the company you work for. You may have to be certified to do this, but medical couriers make a good amount of money. Um, Basically, you would be delivering medical supplies, documents, and samples. I may make a part two because it was so fast. But yes, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Tip if this information was helpful. Don't forget the Discord is down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.